And speaking about borders, we kick-started with the East African community, where it is in crisis again as funding model splits partner states. Now getting into it, an impulse has hit East African community once again, with Kenya being accused of making hardlines towards stances on proposals that would be or see contributions from partner states based on gross domestic product. Now the EC Finance and Administration Committee has raised the red flag over the remittance areas amounting to $50 million. That is a situation that has left Secretariat and its organs almost in limbo. Dennis Namara, the chairperson of the East African Legislative Assembly General Purpose Committee, which is responsible for the budget, said the East African integration agenda is suffering due to unreliable funding by partner states, partly blamed on an impulse onto the formulas for funding. The EAC budget for fiscal year that was 2021-2022 is highlighting about $91.7 million, and if paid, the areas would cover more than a half of the budget. According to the East African Community Council of Ministers, around $54.1 million, that is a 59%, was to be contributed by partner states or raised as other internal revenues, around $37.6 million. That's around 41% from the 12th meeting of Secretarial Council on Finance and Economic Affairs held around May 7th, 2021. And proposed hybrid model, which partner states would contribute around 50% of the budget, an equal share. The remaining 50% would be assembled onto the GDP capital to cover around 40% there. But a Finance and Administration Committee meeting held on, that was in February in Arusha, noted that partners are in areas including South Sudan and Burundi, owing the East African bloc around 48,660,000, over 95% of the outstanding amount, according to the latest data seen by the reports around there. But when you look at the last council meeting, urged Kenya, asking more to consider the proposal. They are delaying this process, adding that the concern is arising from the DRC necessitating the expansion of the institution as it enters the East African Community bloc. As we conclude on this one, Kenya rejected the formula because it would be expected to contribute more more, but with no veto power. An assessment of the East African partner state contributes the East African budget on the GDP would see Kenya contributing around 28.8%, Tanzania contributing around 17.8%, Uganda contributing 16.7%, Rwanda 16.2%, South Sudan 13%, and Burundi 12.7%. Burundi and South Sudan were yet disbursing around $7.44 billion and 27.4 million respectively by February 2022. And Joram was speaking about how East African community blocs are now having fights because some countries, especially Burundi and South Sudan, are in areas, and this is delaying actually agreements of making trade mitigations. And that is why we're going to realize DRC joining the East African community being delayed, because most of the countries are considering that when DRC joins the bloc, there is a lot of opportunities coming through there. And they are putting it now that money will be, let us rest. It's like you and I having a deal, kale tuli mu kibiina kyaffe, then we want Amriat to join in. And then tuyina ebizibu among ourselves. Kati omugagga aliwo tulaba Amriat ajja ye mugagga. Ye opportunity.
The only challenge is the East African community member states. still have a challenge. What I believe is that the difference, and this can only be solved by the one currency that they're also initiating. Why? Because there is a very huge difference between the level of the economies from all different countries. You will see some economies performing quite better. Now, when you look at Burundi and South Sudan, some of the
they are owing the bloc. They are owing the bloc mostly.
And you can clearly see that they are also some of the poorest countries on the continent.
And the East African bloc set a target around, that is 91.7 million as for the financial year 2021-2022.
Either way, it was supposed to be the East African Community bloc to actually help them or assist them in one way. But it seems now it is actually going overboard. No, I'm saying, I'm looking at the situation here. I think when they came into, I think South Sudan was the latest.
Yes, to join.
Before now, the DRC is also in plans. I think also South Sudan looked at the East African Community as a plan B. In case things are not working, you have a regional integration that is going to push you forward. But now with the COVID-19, I think it actually made everything worse. Remember, even in COVID, Burundi lost the president. Things had not been the same for Burundi ever since COVID came in. South Sudan still having those civil wars in there, and also the ongoing insecurity. But closely looking at it in this way is that when you look at the DRC, now Burundi and South Sudan should not look at the DRC for now. Because now you already owe money. You wouldn't want to look at an opportunity where even the big boys are also looking at the same DRC at the end of the day. But still, you can utilize, because we are now member states. But we have to, as the East African Community bloc, we need to look for ways of helping out these people. Because at the end of the day, if they continue to get this particular, let's say, if we continue giving them more assistance financially and they don't pay. Because
now they're looking at DRC coming with some monies coming into injection of the bloc. As we conclude on this one, coming to inject into the bloc. Because I do believe, though this information at some point, it's kept internally, but there is that fee. Because Bobo Yagalo joining HVina, Amriat, if you're coming to join, like I was giving an example of us, we're having a circle, and any external force to come in, do you just welcome people that way? No way. Someone pays membership fee. Someone pays registration at some point. So this is the kind, of opportunities now the East African bloc is looking at. Maybe somewhat, they're going to integrate their crisis that is happening around there. But we'll be following up on more around that. We'll be following up with experts to help us understand, to help you or guide us understand towards these regulations around the East African Community countries.
Well, still under